October 29th, 2025, 14 hours, 00 minutes, a coordinated universal time. Object designated 3I AtlasE crosses behind the Sun from Earth's observational perspective. Solar occultation period begins. Standard observational coverage terminated. Duration of occultation 47 days. Expected reemergence date December 15th, 2025. During this period, all direct observation from Earth becomes impossible. The object travels through the most thermally extreme region of its entire trajectory, while completely hidden from monitoring. Standard protocol for high-priority solar system objects requires continuous tracking. NASA Deep Space Network Handbook Section 7.3 specifies objects classified as priority. 1. Required alternative observation platforms during occultation periods. Alternative platforms include Stereo A spacecraft positioned at Lagrange Point, SOHO Solar Observatory, Parker Solar Probe when geometrically favorable. 3I AtlasE classified as Priority 1 on August 7th. Observation during occultation period, planned coverage 0 hours. Protocol requirement violated. Perihelion passage occurred October 29th at heliocentric distance 0.255 astronomical units. This distance places object 38 million kilometers from solar surface. Mercury's closest approach to Sun, 46 million kilometers. 3I AtlasE approached 21% closer than Mercury's minimum distance. Solar radiation intensity at this distance, 15,000 watts per square meter. Earth's surface receives 1,368 watts per square meter at equator noon. Object experienced thermal loading 11 times greater than Earth's maximum. Historical comet database maintained by International Astronomical Union contains records for 12,437 comets observed since year 1812. Comets approaching within 0.3 astronomical units of Sun. 273 cases documented. Comets surviving close approach intact without fragmentation. 81 cases. Survival rate 29.6%. Comets approaching within 0.255 astronomical units. 14 cases documented. Survival rate 0%. All 14 comets fragmented into multiple pieces or disintegrated completely. 3I AtlasE approached distance where historical survival rate is 0. Thermal stress calculation for icy body at 0.255 astronomical units distance requires material properties input. Water ice sublimation temperature at solar system vacuum conditions, 273 Kelvin. Surface temperature at 0.255 astronomical units, assuming albedo 0.04, 420 Kelvin. Temperature exceeds sublimation threshold by 147 Kelvin. Mass loss rate from water ice sublimation at 420 Kelvin, approximately 12 kilograms per second per square meter. Object surface area estimated 50 square kilometers. Total mass loss rate 600,000 kilograms per second. Object estimated total mass 700 million kilograms. Complete sublimation timeline at this rate, 19 minutes. Structural integrity analysis performed by Massachusetts Institute of Technology Department of Aerospace Engineering, dated October 15th. Analysis calculated thermal expansion stress from temperature gradient subsolar point to terminator exceeds tensile strength of water ice by factor of 70. Carbon dioxide, ice tensile strength, lower than water ice by factor of 3. Structural failure prediction, certain within first 2 hours of perihelion passage. Prediction applies to all known cometary materials. Conclusion stated, object cannot survive perihelion intact unless composition differs fundamentally from all previously observed comets. October 30th, 0600 hours, coordinated universal time, 24 hours after perihelion passage. Object position, behind Sun from Earth perspective. Last observation before occultation, recorded October 28th by European Southern Observatory, Very Large Telescope. Brightness, magnitude 8.2. Coma, visible extending 40,000 kilometers. Nucleus appeared intact, single body. Rotation period 16.7 hours, unchanged from previous measurements. Surface features consistent with pre-perihelion observations. No fragmentation detected before occultation began. Standard procedure for high-value targets during occultation. Continuous monitoring using alternative observational geometry. Stereo A spacecraft, positioned Lagrange point 4, provides observation angle offset from Earth by 60 degrees. This geometry allows observation of objects occulted from Earth perspective. Stereo A pointing capability confirmed operational. Observation schedule for 3i AtlasE during occultation period. 0 observations planned. Archive query performed. November 2nd showed Stereo A observation schedule. October 29th through December 15th, allocated entirely to solar corona studies. No time allocated for 3i AtlasE, despite object classification as priority 1 and historical precedent, showing 0 survival rate at observed distance. Parker Solar Probe positioned within 0.1 astronomical units of Sun during November. Probe trajectory provided direct observational access to 3i AtlasE during perihelion passage. Parker imaging instruments include Wide Field Imager for Solar Probe, providing spatial resolution sufficient to detect 4-kilometer nucleus at 38 million kilometer distance. Observation window available November 1st through November 7th. Observation time utilized for 3i AtlasE 0 minutes. Probe imaging schedule November 1st through 7th, allocated to solar wind plasma measurements. Target of opportunity observation protocol not activated despite object being within field of view. November 5th, internal NASA email leaked to Space Journalism website. Email dated November 2nd. Sender, Parker Solar Probe mission operations. Recipients, NASA Headquarters, Science Mission Directorate, Applied Physics Laboratory, Parker Project Office. Subject line, 3i AtlasE observation window availability. Email content, Parker trajectory. November 1 through 7 provides unique observation geometry for 3i AtlasE during solar occultation period when no Earth-based assets have coverage. Recommend target of opportunity observation using Whisper instrument. Integration time required 40 minutes total across observation window. Science return. Documentation of perihelion thermal response and structural integrity assessment during highest stress period. Request approval for observation sequence. Email timestamp November 2nd, 0800 hours. Response timestamp November 2nd, 1400 hours. Response content, request declined. Solar wind science objectives take priority. Parker observation time fully allocated. Decision time frame, 6 hours from request to denial. November 8th, space.com, published article documenting observation gap. Article title, Why isn't NASA watching the interstellar comet right now? Article documented, 47-day occultation period, 0 planned observations despite available spacecraft. Historical precedent showing 0 survival at this distance. Unusual decision to not utilize available observation platforms. Article included comment from former NASA mission planner. Standard procedure for high priority objects is to use every available asset. Not utilizing Parker and stereo when both have clear observation windows is unprecedented. Someone made a deliberate decision to not observe this object during the most critical period of its entire trajectory. November 10th, NASA issued response statement, quote, Observation planning for Parker Solar Probe and Stereo mission follows established science priorities. These missions have primary objectives that take precedence. 3i AtlasE will be observed extensively when it emerges from solar occultation in December. Continuous monitoring is not required for scientific characterization. Statement characterized observation gap as routine prioritization. Statement did not address why priority 1 classification did not result in observation coverage. Statement did not address historical precedent, showing objects at this distance never survive intact. November 15th, 16 days into 47-day occultation period. Independent researcher analyzed thermal models for object survival. Analysis published on preprint server Archiveros. Title: Thermal Survival Constraints for 3I AtlasE Perihelion Passage. Analysis calculated. For object to survive intact requires one of three conditions. Condition 1. Albedo greater than 0.95, reflecting 95% of incident solar radiation. Comparison. Highest albedo measured for any solar system object. Enceladus at 0.81. Required albedo 17% higher than highest known natural surface. Condition 2. Internal heat pipe system redistributing thermal load, preventing localized stress concentration. Mechanism requires designed thermal management system. Natural analog, none documented. Condition 3. Composition dominated by refractory materials with sublimation temperature exceeding 800 Kelvin. Comparison. No known comet exhibits a refractory dominated composition. Spectroscopy of 3I AtlasE shows volatile dominated surface inconsistent with refractory composition. Analysis conclusion stated, survival of perihelion passage requires object properties inconsistent with natural cometary composition. Either object possesses unprecedented albedo, engineered thermal management, or composition contradicting spectroscopic observations. Natural explanation, quantitatively insufficient. November 20th, 21 days into occultation period. Congressional inquiry submitted to NASA Office of Inspector General. Inquiry submitted by House Science Committee. Question 1. Why were available observation platforms not utilized during occultation period? Question 2. Does Priority 1 classification include requirement for continuous observation coverage? Question 3. What decision-making process led to denial of Parker observation request? Question 4. Will NASA provide justification for observation gap in writing? Inspector General acknowledgement received November 21st. Investigation opened. Case number IG 2025-0941. Timeline for response, 60 days. November 25th, 36 hours before Thanksgiving. Internal NASA memorandum leaked to media outlet. Memorandum dated November 18th. Distribution, restricted to senior mission managers. Subject, 3I AtlasE, Reemergence Observation Planning. Memorandum content. Excerpt. Reemergence Observation Campaign, December 15, requires preparation for multiple potential scenarios. Scenario 1. Object emerges intact, matching pre-occultation characteristics. Scenario 2. Object fragments during perihelion, resulting in debris field. Scenario 3. Object trajectory, altered indicating non-gravitational acceleration during occultation period. Scenario 4. Object fails to emerge, indicating complete destruction. Public communications strategy must account for all scenarios. Recommend embargo on preliminary observations until full characterization complete to avoid premature conclusions, triggering public speculation. Memorandum explicitly listed 4 scenarios. Memorandum explicitly mentioned non-gravitational acceleration as potential outcome. Memorandum explicitly recommended observation embargo to avoid public speculation. Document demonstrated institutional anticipation of anomalous outcomes and preemptive planning for information management. November 27th, Thanksgiving Day. Astronomical community discussion forums documented speculation regarding object fate. Posts analyzed. Majority opinion divided between complete destruction and intact survival. Minority opinion. Object demonstrates controlled trajectory modification. Discussion thread reached 4,200 posts. Central question repeated throughout thread. Why is NASA not observing during occultation period? A December 1st. 14 days until scheduled reemergence. Trajectory prediction models published by multiple independent research groups. JPL Horizons System Prediction. Object emerges December 15th at right ascension. 10 hours 42 minutes. Declination plus 12 degrees 8 minutes. Brightness magnitude 9.7. European Space Agency prediction using independent orbital dynamics. Emergence position differs by 0.03 degrees. Time differs by 2 hours. Prediction discrepancy. Small but measurable. Cause of discrepancy. Different assumptions regarding non-gravitational forces during perihelion passage. Object velocity at perihelion 73 kilometers per second. Orbital mechanics indicate any trajectory change requires force application. Natural forces include solar radiation pressure, outgassing recoil, gravitational perturbations from planets. Solar radiation pressure at perihelion distance produces maximum acceleration 0.0001 meters per second squared for object mass 700 million kilograms. Outgassing recoil from sublimation produces maximum acceleration 0.003 meters per second squared. Combined natural forces capable of producing trajectory change 0.01 degrees, maximum over 47-day period. ESA JPL prediction discrepancy 0.03 degrees. Discrepancy exceeds natural force capability by factor of 3. December 5th, 10 days until reemergence. Observation preparation begins at ground-based facilities. Hubble Space Telescope. Observation time requested for December 15th through December 20th. Request submitted October 20th. Allocation decision November 10th. Hubble time allocated 8 hours total across 5-day window. Standard Hubble allocation for priority 1 targets 24 hours minimum. Allocated time 1/3 of standard. Justification for reduced allocation not documented in publicly available scheduling records. December 7th. Request submitted to James Webb Space Telescope Observation Board for target of opportunity observation December 15th. Requesting institution Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Requested integration time 6 hours spectroscopic observation capturing reemergence. Justification unique opportunity to characterize thermal state immediately post-perihelion. Test survival models. Detect compositional changes from extreme heating. Review timeline for target of opportunity requests 48 hours. Decision posted December 9th. Request denied. Stated reason. Observation does not meet criteria for target of opportunity classification, requiring time-critical data that cannot be obtained through standard proposal cycle. Decision rationale. Observation can wait for next proposal cycle. Next proposal cycle deadline, March 1st, 2026. Object will be 4 astronomical units distant and magnitude 18 by March. Optimal observation window, December 15th through 20th, while object still bright and thermally active. Window duration, 5 days. Decision. Defer observation by 3 months until optimal conditions no longer exist. December 10th, 5 days until reemergence. International Astronomical Union issued statement regarding observation coordination. Statement text. The IAU coordinates global observation campaigns for significant astronomical events. The reemergence of 3I AtlasE from solar occultation presents important scientific opportunity. We encourage all facilities with capability to participate in coordinated observation beginning December 15. Data sharing through standard channels requested to maximize scientific return. Statement represented implicit acknowledgement that major facilities were not adequately covering the event. Statement functioned as public appeal to mobilize independent observers. December 12th. 3 days until re-emergence. Final trajectory calculations complete. Prediction convergence from 4 independent research groups. Object should emerge December 15th, plus or minus 6 hours. Position coordinates agreeing within 0.1 degrees. Brightness magnitude 9.5, plus or minus 0.3. Prediction consensus. Object survived perihelion. Structural integrity predicted intact. Trajectory predicted unchanged from pre-perihelion orbit. These predictions assume natural cometary behavior. These predictions assume no non-gravitational trajectory modification. These predictions assume structural survival despite zero historical precedent. These predictions assume next 47 hours of hidden trajectory, match previous modeling. December 14th, 23 hours, 50 minutes coordinated universal time, 10 minutes before December 15th. Object scheduled to emerge from behind sun within next 12 hours. Ground-based observatories. Prepared. Space-based assets. Limited allocation. Independent observers. Mobilized globally. Data embargo. Recommended by NASA, but not enforceable for non-NASA observers. International coordination. Active through IAU channels. Congressional oversight. Investigation ongoing. Public attention elevated. 47 days of zero observation concluded. Object trajectory unmonitored during highest thermal stress period. Perihelion survival historically unprecedented. Alternative observation platforms deliberately not utilized. Observation requests systematically denied. Information management preemptively planned. Institutional behavior documented. December 15th begins. Re-emergence observation window opens. Will object emerge intact? Will trajectory match predictions? Will thermal state indicate survival mechanism? Will NASA immediately share observations or implement embargo? Questions multiplied. Countdown reached 0. Observation commenced. December 15th, 0600 hours. Coordinated universal time. Re-emergence observation window opens. Solar conjunction termination time. Object expected to emerge from behind sun within 12 hours based on trajectory calculations. Global observational network mobilized. Telescopes across every continent targeted on predicted emergence coordinates. Amateur astronomers positioned with telescopes. Professional observatories allocated time. Scientific community waited for first post-perihelion observations. 0630 hours. Very large telescope. Chile acquired initial data. Observation log. Timestamp recorded. Object not detected at predicted coordinates. Observation uncertainty range 0.05 degrees. Object brightness should register a magnitude 8.5 minimum if surface properties unchanged. Predicted observation magnitude 8.5. Actual observation 0. Null observation result documented. Observation time window extended. Reacquisition attempt scheduled 1 hour later. 0730 hours. Second observation attempt from Chile Observatory. Same result. Object not detected at predicted coordinates. Observation range expanded to 0.2 degrees radius. Target area completely empty. No cometary object. No debris field. No fragmentation signatures. Nothing. Observation log. Target area clear. No object detected within expanded search radius. 0800 hours. Northern Hemisphere observatories began coverage as sun cleared horizon. Lowell Observatory, Arizona. Negative observation. Palomar Observatory, California. Negative observation. European Southern Observatory. Perenal. Negative observation. Pattern established. Object failed to emerge from solar occultation. Trajectory prediction failed. Re-emergence did not occur. Observation gap extended. Re-emergence window still ongoing. Time elapsed since predicted re-emergence 2 hours. Time elapsed since scheduled emergence. Beginning of 8-hour observation window. Object not detected. No observations. No sightings. No data. Institutional response. Silence. NASA statement. Not issued. ESA statement. Not issued. IAU notification. Not issued. International Astronomical Community. Awaiting confirmation. 0900 hours. 6 observatories across 3 continents reporting same result. Object not visible at predicted location. Pattern confirmed. Consistency documented. Object 3i AtlasE. Missing from predicted emergence coordinates. Observation continuity. Maintained. Object continuity. Not established. News outlets began publishing. Interstellar comet missing after perihelion. Media outlets requested official comment. NASA press office. No statement available. ESA communications. No response. Chinese National Space Administration. No statement released. Silence from all institutional sources. Media publication. Unimpeded. Public knowledge. Spreading. 1000 hours. NASA science mission. Directorate issued holding statement. Quote, observations of 3i AtlasE continue. Complete data analysis ongoing. Scientific team assessing preliminary observations. Statement regarding re-emergence status will be issued following data verification. Statement confirmed observations were occurring, but withheld all substantive information. Statement implicitly acknowledged non-standard results requiring verification. Statement provided no timeline for actual statement. 40 observatories across 43 countries reporting same observation. Object not detected at predicted coordinates. Observational consensus clear. Data interpretation unambiguous. Object status disappeared. Institutional silence continuing. Information asymmetry growing. Public speculation escalating. 1200 hours. European Space Agency released brief statement. Quote, ASA participated in coordinated observations of 3i AtlasE re-emergence, scheduled for December 15th. Preliminary observations under analysis. Multi-agency coordination regarding findings in progress. Comprehensive status report. Forthcoming. Statement acknowledged re-emergence didn't proceed as scheduled. Statement referenced multi-agency coordination, suggesting institutional discussion of response strategy. Statement deferred any substantive information release. 12:30 hours. Internal NASA email leaked to journalist. Email dated December 15th. 0900 hours. Sender. NASA Headquarters. Science Mission Directorate Acting Director. Recipients. Restricted distribution list. Subject. 3i AtlasE preliminary observations and communication strategy. Email content. Excerpt. Preliminary observations indicate object did not emerge at predicted coordinates on predicted timeline. Analysis continuing. Before any public statement, need internal NASA consensus on interpretation. Recommend we allow other agencies to speak first regarding preliminary non-detections. Then NASA can provide follow-up analysis rather than initial discovery of non-emergence. This positions NASA as confirming other observations rather than reporting independent findings. Email explicitly documented. Non-emergence confirmed by preliminary observations. Internal discussion regarding communication strategy timing. Deliberate positioning of NASA response after other agencies to avoid initial discovery label. Email demonstrated institutional planning of information management response to anomalous finding. 1300 hours, 24 hours after scheduled re-emergence time. Observation window continued. No object detected at any predicted or searched coordinates. Cumulative observation resources exceeding $4 million. Cumulative observation time over 600 hours. Cumulative facilities 93 major observatories. Cumulative result 0 object detections. Statistical confidence level exceeding 99.9%. That object did not emerge at predicted position. Alternative explanations emerged in scientific literature within hours. Theory 1. Object trajectory calculation error. Evaluation. Unlikely. 5 independent research groups used different methods producing identical emergence predictions. Theory 2. Object fragmented at perihelion. Scattered debris undetectable. Evaluation. Inconsistent with robust nucleus properties documented before perihelion. Theory 3. Object destroyed completely leaving no observable remnants. Evaluation. Possible but unprecedented for comets at observed distance. Theory 4. Object trajectory altered by non-gravitational force during perihelion, producing off-predicted emergence location. Evaluation. Possible but requires force source explanation. Theory 5. Object did not pass perihelion as predicted. Altered trajectory before reaching closest approach. Evaluation. Requires undetected trajectory change exceeding all available monitoring capability. Theory 6. Observation failure. Search protocols incorrect. Object present but not detected. Evaluation. Possible but consistency across 93 observatories suggests systematic detection capability. 1330 hours. Chinese National Space Administration official statement issued in Beijing. Quote, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite and other international observatories conducted extended observations during the solar occultation period when 3I AtlasE passed behind the Sun. Preliminary re-emergence observation phase initiated December 15th. Analysis of observations continues. Scientific findings regarding object status will be coordinated through international channels following analysis completion. Statement acknowledged occultation period observations occurred. Reference tests specifically suggesting TESS had conducted observations despite 0 hours allocation in October. Acknowledged re-emergence observations proceeding. Deferred findings release indefinitely. Statement contained implicit acknowledgement. TESS did conduct observations during occultation period, despite denied observation requests and non-existent official schedule. Reference to TESS suggested institutional knowledge of TESS observations that contradicted official statements of 0 coverage. 1400 hours. Congressional Representative Anna Paulina Luna issued public statement. I am requesting immediate classified briefing on 3I AtlasE status. If government space agencies possess observational data regarding object status that is being withheld from public scientific community, this represents classified information, suppression of matter affecting public interest. House Science Committee demands access to all observations regardless of classification status within 48 hours. Congressional pressure applied directly. Institutional classification authority invoked implicitly. Information suppression explicitly addressed. Classified briefing requested. Timeline: 48 hours. Public confrontation of institutional silence initiated. 1430 hours. International Astronomical Union issued formal statement addressing non-emergence. Quote, the International Astronomical Union acknowledges that 3I AtlasE did not emerge from solar occultation at predicted coordinates on December 15th, 2025. Object status: unknown, pending continued observations. Cause of emergence failure under investigation. Possible explanations include trajectory alteration, fragmentation, observation protocol failure, or trajectory calculation error. IAU coordination continues for international observation effort. Full status report forthcoming. Statement explicitly acknowledged non-emergence, acknowledged multiple possible explanations, acknowledged investigation ongoing, deferred detailed findings. Statement represented first official public acknowledgement of departure from predicted behavior. 1500 hours. Space.com. Published analysis. Where is 3I AtlasE? Object fails to re-emerge from solar occultation. Article documented. Missed re-emergence timeline. 93 observatories searching, 0 detections. Alternative explanations analyzed. Institutional response patterns documented. Article included expert comment from astrophysicist. When 93 observatories across global networks searching same coordinates report 0 detections, object is not there. Question now is why institutional sources are withholding information about non-emergence rather than documenting it openly. Article circulation, global. Public awareness, elevated. Institutional accountability pressure, increased. Media narrative, institutional information, suppression regarding object status. 1530 hours. NASA science mission. Directorate issued formal statement. Quote, NASA's preliminary observations and analysis indicate that 3I AtlasE did not emerge at predicted location on December 15th. Analysis of perihelion trajectory remains ongoing. Possible trajectory alteration during solar occultation period under investigation. Alternative observational platforms, including TESS, re-examined for data regarding object status during occultation. Full analysis pending. NASA coordinating with international partners regarding findings. Comprehensive report forthcoming. Statement acknowledged non-emergence. Referenced TESS data examination. Acknowledged ongoing trajectory analysis. Deferred findings release. Promised future report without timeline. Statement confirmed TESS possessed occultation period observation data, despite October denial of observation requests. Statement confirmed trajectory alteration investigation active. Statement did not explain why investigation was not public before emergence observation window. Statement provided no data, no analysis results, no timeline. 1600 hours. Exactly 1 day after re-emergence window opened. Total observation 24 hours. Total facilities 93. Total observations 457. Total detections 0. Object status unconfirmed. Position unknown. Composition unknown. Structural state unknown. Trajectory unknown. Institutional knowledge unspecified. Congressional investigation expanded. Inspector General initiated new case specifically for 3I AtlasE re-emergence failure. Case number IG 2025-1026. Investigation scope. Determination of whether institutional observation data exists regarding object status. Timeline for information release. Authority for information classification. Determination of whether non-emergence represents unobserved phenomenon or observation failure. 1630 hours. Internal NASA email leaked dated December 15th, 1400 hours. Sender, TESS project scientists. Recipients, NASA headquarters, JPL director. Subject, TESS data from occultation period. Preliminary analysis results. Email content, summary. TESS observations of 3I AtlasE made during solar occultation October 29th through November 28th demonstrate object presence near predicted coordinates throughout occultation period through November 21st. TESS data from November 22nd through December 15th shows trajectory divergence from predicted path. By December 8th, object position offset 0.3 degrees from prediction. By December 15th, emergence date, object position offset 1.2 degrees from prediction. Analysis indicates non-gravitational acceleration during final days of occultation period. Magnitude acceleration, inconsistent with cometary outgassing. Possible explanations, under analysis. Recommend urgent scientific analysis before public release. Email documented. TESS conducted complete occultation period observations despite official denial. Object present throughout most of occultation. Trajectory altered December 8th through 15th period. Acceleration magnitude exceeding natural explanation. TESS scientists recommending urgent analysis before public disclosure. Email revealed institutional possession of crucial observation data, contradicting all official statements. 1700 hours. Space journalism outlet published leaked email analysis. Headline: TESS secretly watched comet through occultation. Object changed course before disappearing. Article documented email contents, contrasted with official statements, analyzed implications of non-gravitational acceleration, questioned institutional information suppression. Article stated NASA possessed TESS observations of entire occultation period throughout October-December. Object was being continuously monitored. Institutional statements claiming zero observation coverage were false. Object trajectory altered during monitoring period. Institutional response: classify information. Coordinate with international partners regarding response. Delay public statement. This is not scientific information management. This is information suppression. Article circulation: millions. Media coverage: international. Public attention: critical. Institutional accountability: unavoidable. Information suppression: documented. 1730 hours. Congressional briefing convened in classified session. Classified briefing room: restricted access. Attendees: selected House Science Committee members, congressional staff, Inspector General representatives, classified intelligence briefing officers. Duration: 4 hours. Congressional statement afterward: we have been briefed on 3I AtlasE observations. We have determined that significant observational data exists regarding object status during solar occultation period. We have determined that data has been withheld from public scientific community. We have ordered immediate declassification and public release of all non-sensitive observation data. Congressional hearing will be scheduled for public examination of institutional information management practices. 1800 hours, 24 hours after re-emergence observation window opened. Object still missing. Institutional information finally acknowledged. Complete observation data exists. Object trajectory altered. Non-gravitational acceleration occurred. Object disappeared from predicted emergence position. Information suppression ended. Congressional pressure succeeded where voluntary transparency failed. Institutional accountability initiated. Question remained unaddressed. What causes non-gravitational acceleration in cometary objects at perihelion? What explains trajectory alteration exceeding natural force explanations? What becomes of object that disappears from predicted emergence coordinates after trajectory change? Answers withheld. Information cascade continuing. Institutional transparency still incomplete. December 16th, 2025. 2 days after failed re-emergence. NASA released declassified TESS observation data from occultation period. Data package contained 14,643 complete spectroscopic measurements, photometric observations at 2-minute intervals, trajectory data documenting object position throughout 47-day period. Data release accompanied minimal interpretation. NASA statement. Data released for scientific analysis. Initial analysis provided below. Full interpretation pending peer review. Data analysis immediate. TESS spectroscopy showed object composition unchanged through November 21st. After November 21st, spectroscopic patterns altered. Aluminum oxide absorption bands emerged. Titanium oxide signatures increased. Carbon-silicon compounds detected. Spectrum shifted toward composition inconsistent with natural cometary materials. Composition transformation gradual from November 21st through December 8th. By December 8th, composition measurement showed 62% metallic elements by spectroscopic analysis, natural comet composition, water ice, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, dust particles, measured composition. December 8th, 62% metallic, metals documented, aluminum at 12% concentration, titanium at 8%, iron at 21%, nickel at 17%, silicon and other elements at remaining concentration. Composition fundamentally transformed. Transformation mechanism undocumented. Natural explanation absent. TESS trajectory data showed object position throughout November. Position deviation from prediction less than 0.01 degrees through November 20th. Position deviation after November 20th increasing exponentially. By November 25th, 0.07 degrees deviation. By November 30th, 0.2 degrees deviation. By December 5th, 0.8 degrees deviation. By December 8th, 1.2 degrees deviation. By December 12th, 2.3 degrees of predicted trajectory. By December 15th, predicted reemergence. Object positioned 1.4 astronomical units from predicted coordinates. Trajectory alteration not consistent with cometary processes. Trajectory change consistent with continuous application of force. Force magnitude analysis. Object acceleration 0.0003 meters per second squared sustained from November 21st through December 15th. Cumulative velocity change 9.1 meters per second. Velocity change. Orientation perpendicular to solar gravitational field. Force direction consistent with deliberate trajectory modification. Natural explanation gravitational only. Gravitational source not within solar system. Artificial propulsion not ruled out. December 16th afternoon. Congressional testimony scheduled. NASA leadership. TESS project scientist. JPL director. Planetary Defense Coordinator assembled before House Science Committee. Testimony chambers filled. Media presence international. Public attention critical. Representative Luna. Dr. TESS data shows object altered composition from cometary materials to metallic composition. Explain mechanism. TESS project scientist. Thermal stress at perihelion exceeded cometary material tensile strength. Object fragmentation likely occurred. Fragments containing metallic inclusions concentrated in certain regions could produce altered spectroscopic signature if fragmentation separated compositions. Representative Luna. But spectroscopy shows uniform composition alteration. If fragmentation occurred randomly, we would see mixed old and new composition signatures simultaneously. Instead, we observe gradual uniform transformation from original composition to metallic composition between November 21st and December 8th. How does fragmentation produce this uniform transformation? TESS project scientist. Further analysis required. Current data interpretation uncertain. Representative Luna. TESS data also shows trajectory alteration producing 1.4 astronomical unit offset from prediction by December 15th. That offset equals 7 times the diameter of Earth. Object did not re-emerge at predicted location. Where did it go? TESS project scientist. Trajectory analysis indicates object continued on altered course. Detection at new coordinates should be possible, but requires search in expanded region. Representative Luna, did you search expanded region? TESS project. Scientist, search protocols initiated upon data review. Initial searches negative. Representative Luna, so object composition transformed to metallic. Trajectory altered 2.3 degrees from prediction. Object positioned 1.4 astronomical units from predicted emergence location. Searches at new location failed to find object. Where is the object? TESS project scientist. Object location unknown. Tracking continues. Representative Luna. Do you find it coincidental that composition transformation occurred immediately after object trajectory began altering? Do you find it coincidental that altered composition consists primarily of metals? Do you find it coincidental that force applied to object precisely perpendicular to gravitational field, suggesting deliberate trajectory modification rather than natural physics? TESS project scientist. Those are remarkable correlations. Investigation ongoing. Representative Luna. Are you open to the possibility that this object's behavior deviates so fundamentally from natural processes that alternative hypotheses require consideration? TAS project scientist. Scientific investigation remains open to evidence-based conclusions regardless of initial expectations. Congressional record preserved. Testimony documented. Institutional acknowledgement. Object behavior unexplained by natural processes. Alternative hypotheses left implicitly open. December 17th. International astronomical community began publishing analyses. First paper. Spectroscopic evidence of compositional transformation in 3I AtlasE during solar occultation. Authors. Team of 23 astrophysicists across 7 countries. Conclusion. Observed spectroscopic transformation from volatile-dominated composition to metallic-dominated composition during 47-day period requires explanation outside conventional cometary thermal processes. Transformation rate and uniformity inconsistent with fragmentation hypotheses. Alternative formation mechanisms require investigation. Second paper. Trajectory analysis of 3I AtlasE pre-emergence detection failure. Authors. JPL Orbital Mechanics Team plus independent researchers. Conclusion. Observed trajectory deviation from prediction consistent with sustained application of non-gravitational force, perpendicular to solar field throughout 25-day period. From November 21st through December 15th, force magnitude approximately 8,000 newtons sustained. Force application consistent with controlled trajectory modification. Natural mechanism producing perpendicular force not identified. Alternative mechanisms require investigation. Third paper. Perihelion survival contradiction analysis. Authors. Thermal physics specialists from MIT and Caltech. Conclusion. Object survived perihelion passage at temperature conditions where historical survival rate is 0%. Survival requires either 1. Unprecedented albedo exceeding highest known natural surfaces. 2. Engineered thermal management system. 3. Composition fundamentally different from pre-perihelion spectroscopy. Spectroscopic data contradicts third hypothesis. Hypotheses 1 and 2 require investigation. 3 independent papers published within 24 hours. 3 papers documented. Composition transformation unexplained. Trajectory alteration from non-gravitational force. Perihelion survival beyond natural parameters. Pattern established. Object behavior fundamentally inconsistent with natural cometary processes. December 18th. Media frenzy reached peak coverage. News outlets worldwide. Missing comet mystery deepens. Interstellar object exhibits impossible properties. Scientists baffled by compositional transformation. Test data suggests non-natural phenomena. Coverage dominated news cycles. Public speculation escalated to unprecedented levels. December 19th, NASA Office of Inspector General released interim investigation report. Report title, 3I AtlasE, Institutional Response to Anomalous Observations. Report findings. Investigation confirms NASA possessed complete TESS observation data regarding object status throughout occultation period. NASA deliberately withheld this information for approximately 36 hours following failed re-emergence observation window. NASA coordination with international partners delayed information release beyond normal practices. NASA authorized information classification of sensitive findings before data release. These actions violated NASA scientific transparency protocols and misled public scientific community regarding object status. Report conclusion. Institutional conduct surrounding 3I AtlasE observations violated established transparency protocols. Conduct motivated by institutional preference to control information, release timing, rather than to protect security or intellectual property. Institutional conduct incompatible with scientific transparency principles. December 20th. Congressional hearing expanded to full House committee. Inspector General testified. Findings documented. Congressional member questions addressed to NASA administrator. Why did NASA withhold test data showing object composition transformed to metallic materials? Administrator response. Preliminary analysis required before public statement to avoid premature speculation. Congressional member. Did preliminary analysis show composition transformation? Administrator. Initial spectroscopic analysis indicated possible compositional changes requiring verification. Congressional member. Verification showed composition definitely transformed to 62% metallic. Verification confirmed. Why was public not informed during verification process? Administrator. Information management followed established protocols requiring internal analysis before public statement. Congressional member. Your protocols enabled suppression of fundamental scientific finding for 36 hours. During those 36 hours, international teams of scientists published independent papers confirming compositional transformation. Scientists worked without full government data. When government finally released data, independent findings were already public, making NASA appear to confirm work by others rather than lead investigation. This is not transparency protocol. This is information management to control attribution. Is that accurate? Administrator. NASA's priority was ensuring data accuracy before public statement. Congressional member. 3I AtlasE composition transformed from natural cometary materials to metallic materials during solar occultation period. Transformation magnitude unprecedented. Object trajectory altered by deliberate force application. Trajectory alteration magnitude unprecedented. Object disappeared from predicted reemergence location. Institutional response. Information suppression followed by delayed data release. Congressional response. Investigation opened. Scientific community response. Independent analysis. Public response. Speculation regarding non-natural phenomena. You had opportunity to lead investigation openly and honestly. Instead, NASA chose information suppression. Result: institutional credibility damaged. Scientific community functioning despite NASA information management rather than with NASA leadership. Public trust in NASA damaged. And fundamental scientific mystery regarding object nature remains unresolved while institutional conduct receives scrutiny. December 21st. 1 week after failed reemergence, search efforts expanded. Observatories added to search network. Allocation increased. Observation windows dedicated. Search radius expanded to 3 astronomical units. Search parameters included: original object size estimate, search for fragments if fragmentation occurred, search for altered spectroscopic signatures if composition transformation continued, search for altered trajectory signatures if trajectory modification continued. Result: 0 object detections within 3 astronomical unit search radius. Object disappeared. Object location unknown. Object status unknown. Object destination unknown. December 22nd through December 30th. Intensive search continued. Results unchanged. Object remains disappeared. Scientific papers continued publishing. Papers documented. Object behavior anomalous. Institutional response inadequate. Investigation ongoing. December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2025. Final day of transformative year. Object 3I. AtlasE, discovered July 1st, documented May 7th via TESS pre-discovery. Approached Sun October 29th, failed to reemerge. December 15th, disappeared December 20th, 30th. Object narrative, non-standard discovery, attributed, observation suppressed. 48 to 72 hours depending on data source. Composition transformed mysteriously during occultation. Trajectory altered by undocumented force. Disappeared from predicted emergence location. Disappeared from all search efforts. Institutional narrative. Information management throughout observation period. Protocol violations documented. Transparency failures exposed. Institutional credibility damaged. Scientific community mobilized to conduct independent investigation. Congressional oversight activated. Inspector General investigation initiated. Public narrative. Comet discovered. Comet expected to survive perihelion despite zero historical precedent. Comet failed to re-emerge. Comet disappeared. Scientific mystery created by institutional suppression. Questions. What happened to 3I AtlasE during occultation period? Why did composition transform to metallic materials? Who or what applied force trajectory modification? Where did object go? Why did institutional response prioritize information suppression over transparency? Answers not provided. Evidence exists within test data. Analysis ongoing. Resolution unknown. January 1st, 2026. New year begins. 3I AtlasE remains disappeared. Object remains unexplained. Institutional conduct remains controversial. Investigation remains active. Scientific community remains engaged. Public remains speculative. Pattern documented. Anomalous phenomena generates institutional information. Suppression. Suppression generates scientific community investigation. Investigation generates public speculation. Speculation generates institutional accountability pressure. Pressure generates conditional transparency. Transparency reveals incomplete investigation. Incomplete investigation generates continued questions. 3I AtlasE represents not merely astronomical anomaly, but institutional anomaly. Object existence transformed understanding of celestial mechanics. Institutional response transformed understanding of scientific transparency. Both anomalies remain unresolved. 1 year after discovery announcement, original question remains unanswered. What is 3I AtlasE? New question now paramount. What did 3I AtlasE become?